have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world when you hit that play button. I am so glad you did. This is indeed Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina coming at you with another episode of the Genesis frequency, focusing on personal development, professional development, leadership development, spiritual development, organizational and corporate development. So you're in the right place at the right time if that is your focus in this moment. I think we all need to spend more time with personal development to be more effective and efficient leaders in our work, in our lives. Maybe you're not working. Maybe you're retired. Maybe you're a student. Whatever it is, personal development is the key to living a full, effective, efficient, joy filled life. So, you want to talk more about that? I encourage you to reach out. Stephen at successocean.com. That's Stephen with a PH, or my calendar, successappointment.com. Get you on my calendar and we can talk about bringing one of my effective programs into your company. Please pass this on to the decision maker in your organization and we'll have a conversation. I am a proud franchisee of Leadership Management International. Been around for over 65 years now and have been leading organizations to fulfill and tap into the unlimited fountain of potential that they themselves, along with their employees, bring to the organization and their ministries as well. I love doing this work in ministries, being an ordained minister myself. So reach out, let's talk, let's dive in. So again, welcome back. This is part 2 of our series. If you remember last week, I started a 2-part series on effective communication. So if you missed part 1, I highly encourage you to go back and listen as I laid a powerful foundation on how communication begins within. Everything's within, right? If it's coming from me and I'm talking about it, it's from within. So today we continue our journey by getting more practical. I always like to talk about what is it, how does it work, what will it do for you, what is the application and action that I can make in my life to do this thing that you're talking about. I'm not up here just to lecture. I'm here to give you tools that you can apply in your own in your position, in your career, in your life, in your family, in your relationships, and everything when it comes to that contribute to your own goal achievement. So that's why we want this to be practical, okay? Stuff you can use, and this is invaluable. Many people discount what they get for free as not being of much value. That's not true here because I give from my heart and I give fully every time. So we're focusing on 3 crucial skills today when it comes to communication. And the first one is active listening, but I've done a couple episodes specifically on active listening because we can go deeper and deeper and deeper and become really good on this. This is something everybody can improve on. I was just in a call this week. Well, I don't know what they town hall or something like that. Just kind of a fireside open kind of chat informational call, and it's astonishing to me to see people post in chats and in questions and raise their hand and ask questions about something that was just covered and covered with clarity and detailed and explained. Not that there's anything really wrong with it, but if we get better at listening, we won't have to do this and we won't have to take up so much time and take that away from other people asking new and fresh questions that perhaps the entire group needs. So anyway, I did a couple episodes on effective listening. Go to the website thegenesisfrequency.com and use the search bar and just type in effective listening. It's categorized that way. And it's not that long ago. If you just want to go in chronological order, just keep scrolling back through the episodes and you'll find it. So we're focusing on active listening, navigating difficult conversations, right? That's important, isn't it? Sometimes we find ourselves in those difficult conversations. How do we work through them in the most efficient and effective way? And third up will be the art of persuasive storytelling. That's what people remember. They get it. That's why we see so much of New Testament scripture, for instance, told in the form of parables and stories. So, all these skills are essential whether you're leading a team, whether you're running a business, ministering to others, maybe running that ministry, or simply striving to be more effective and conscious in your relationship, consciously aware, not an not an unconscious competent, but consciously aware. So let's dive in. All right. The first section here I want to talk about is the active listening again, even though I did a couple episodes on that. I want you to revisit this with yourself. Just push back after this episode's over, reflect a little bit. Am I doing this thing? Right? Active listening is the doorway to connection. It really, really is. The foundation, the solid foundation for all effective communication is listening. It's not how well you speak, how articulate you are, how eloquent you are when the words leave your mouth. It's listening, effective communication, not just hearing, okay? Active listening. Most people listen with the intent to reply, not to understand. When you become an active listener, everything changes. We're not to sit back, and I touched on this in the last episode and the effective listening episodes. This isn't time when the other person is speaking or the other people are speaking and sharing ideas. This isn't time for us to formulate what we're going to say next as soon as we find an opportunity to jump in. That's not the time for this. The time should be spent listening in a very certain way. Okay. Active listening means you give your full attention, not looking at your phone and uh-huh, your full attention. Active listening means you reflect back what you hear. It means you acknowledge and validate feelings. Are you doing that? Good questions to ask yourself here. Active listening means you are asking clarifying questions. Active listening means you resist the urge to interrupt or judge. That might be a real difficult one for some people. I see this a lot too. And we want to do all these things. When someone feels heard, they feel valued. And when they feel valued, trust builds. That trust is the currency of great leadership and deep relationships. So I invite you to try this exercise today. In your next conversation, just pause before responding. Just take that breath and pause. Repeat back what the other person said in your own words. You might simply ask, "Hey, did I get that right?" Notice how the energy of the conversation shifts. Did I get that right? What I'm hearing is that you, and then repeat it back, paraphrase what you just heard. And and do this often. It builds that trust, the deeper relationship, and it gives you clarity. It moves you to that place of understanding the way it was intended for you to understand. Now, it's also important to listen beyond words. Listen to tone, listen to inflection, listen to how the speaker is speaking with emphasis in certain areas, the rise in the level of volume of the voice. Listen to all this. Listen to body language. Watch that body language. Sometimes the most important communication is nonverbal. We see that. We watch the face and watch the eyes. We miss all this when we're looking down at our phones, when we're checking emails, when we're on a Teams call or a Zoom call. Look at the speaker. Turn the camera on. It is rude to be showing up to these meetings with your camera off, all right? You're not camera ready? Well, get over it. If you were in the office and you had to go to a meeting, you need to be prepared, all right? And just listen to it all. Be totally focused on what is happening in the moment. As you cultivate this skill, you're going to find that people are drawn to you. They're just drawn to you. Energetically, there is a shift. And why is that? It's because people are truly starved, and get this, people are truly starved to be truly heard. People want to matter. What they share with you, they want to matter. They want to influence and have an impact in some way. This is an exchange, and listening is part of that exchange. So let's also talk about some internal practices too. Since you know me, I'm going within, right? Let's talk about some of those internal practices. Silence your inner commentary. It's going to be hard for a lot of people to do, but you can do this with practice. Silence your inner commentary. Breathe deeply. Practice presence. Practice being fully present. Now, these are not just soft skills. These are transformational practices that shape you into a master communicator. Why wouldn't you want to be a master communicator? This will pay tremendous dividends if you intentionally and consciously move forward to refine all these skills. And you can do all of this with practice. Remember, it's not just listening to this podcast or getting the book on communication. We can all read that and we retain very little. We can listen to a show or an episode like this, but do it over and over and over again. Make some notes, study it, don't read it. I shared a long time ago. I don't read books anymore. I study them. I'll spend maybe a couple days on 2 pages and I'll study the material so I can apply and take action in my own life. All right, let's keep moving here. Part two, navigating difficult conversations. I said we'd talk about this today. Boy, is this important. You want to navigate difficult conversations. You want to do it with courage. You want to do it with compassion, right? You want to do it with empathy, maybe sympathy. Who knows? Difficult conversations are inevitable, all right? Whether it's delivering feedback, whether we're helping another employee or team member or somebody that's on our team, maybe we're a supervisor, we will find ourselves often in a place that we have to deliver feedback, we have to address conflict, right? Or expressing your own boundaries. This is important. These moments, all these moments, the feedback, the addressing conflict, the boundary establishment, these moments define us as communicators. And I'm telling you, I witness this time and time again. I don't care where you are on the team. I don't care where you're on the corporate ladder. I don't care where you are as a professional or a frontline consumer facing individual in the workplace. We can all get better at communication. Every single one of you. I could give you I could just do show after show after show of examples that I witness day in and day out. We can all get better at this. So here's a few principles for navigating these moments, these difficult conversations with grace. Number one, start with your intention. Ask yourself, what is the highest possible outcome for this conversation? Okay, what's the highest possible outcome? Let your intention then guide your tone. Number two, lead with empathy. Remember that the person in front of you is a human being with needs, with fears, and a desire to be seen, to be heard, to matter. I talk to a lot of people in this personal and professional development work that I do, and leadership and spiritual development work that I do. Is people just, I just don't, I want to stop being invisible. I want somebody to hear me and see me. It's a thing. It's a big thing. I felt like that myself many, many, many times and often still do. All right. Number three, be clear and direct. Vagueness breeds confusion. You don't want to be vague. You want to be clear and direct. Speak your truth with clarity, but never without kindness. That is so key. Speak your truth with clarity, but never without kindness. We can be kind, right? All right. Number four, use I statements like I feel or I observed. Those I statements are very different from you always or you never, right? I feel that I'm being put in a situation I feel is much more effective. It's much more efficient when we're communicating with another person. And number six, know when to pause. Know when to pause. I like to add in there because of my spiritual background. Know when to pause, know when to pray. And we can pray within that pause, even if we're not doing it outwardly. Maybe it's just not necessarily the appropriate place in a corporate meeting. Some of them are. The line of work that I'm in, I don't hesitate to do that. But know when to pause. If things escalate, take a break. Take a break, pause, breathe, center yourself, get back to your intention, let it guide your tone, breathe into that clarity, breathe into that kindness, right? Sometimes the best communication is giving space, giving grace. So let's say you need to give feedback to a team member who isn't performing. You could say, I want you to know I value your contribution to the team. I've noticed that a few deadlines have been missed recently, and I'd love to understand what's going on and how I can support you in getting back on track. Now, see, this approach opens the door for dialogue, not defensiveness. In ministry and leadership, you're going to have these moments often, I can assure you. But here's what I've learned the most difficult conversations often produce the most transformational outcomes. They require courage, yes, but also compassion, right? All right, I'm looking at the time go by here. We want to dive into number three real quick here. The art of persuasive storytelling. Ah, I love a good story, don't you? You want to inspire through your narrative. That's the art of persuasive storytelling. I'm telling you what, people don't remember facts. I could sit here all day long and list fact after fact after fact of what's happening in the workplace through the research and the study that I do. So I have the facts in front of me when I'm talking to a decision maker about bringing a program into their company for a group of individuals or the entire company. I have a ton of facts, but nobody's going to remember them. I'm starting to because I go through them and I print them out and I offer them and I email them and I share them on social media. But people don't necessarily remember them unless I tell them over and over and over again. But storytelling is one of the most effective ways to communicate your message. Whether you're speaking from a pulpit, leading a meeting, or whether you're just posting on social media, maybe you're doing a video. Storytelling is the most effective way. A good story connects. A good story evokes emotion and creates resonance. It bypasses the intellect and goes straight to where? It goes straight to the heart. So here's how you want to tell, just in a nutshell, and we can spend more time on this. Here's how you tell a persuasive story. Number one, you want to start with a relatable moment. You want to paint a picture. Bring your audience into a scene. That's what I do. There I was, laying in the hospital, bleeding to death, right? I looked up at the doctor, and the doctor looked down at me and said, see, I'm bringing people into, most people have either been in the hospital as a patient or as a visitor, right? So I'm bringing them into the scene. Number two, introduce tension or conflict. What's the conflict? Well, the doctor said, right? Every great story has a turning point. So I want to bring them into the tension. The doctor looked down at me and says, I got good news and bad news. So I'm bringing people into the story, right? The good news is it's not your heart. The bad news is you have 3 days to live, right? So I'm introducing the tension, the conflict. Every great story has a turning point. So what challenge needs to be overcome? You want to identify that. That's the challenge that need to come. I didn't want to. No, I didn't want to just say, okay, 3 days. That's it. I got it. I'm dead. No, I'm not buying into game over. So that's the challenge. That's the conflict. Number three, reveal the insight or breakthrough. What happened when I was laying there? What decisions did I make? What intention did I set? What commitment did I make? That's all part of my story when I communicate it to individuals, groups, or from the pulpit. What was learned? What was discovered? What was realized? Put that in your story. Number four, connect it all to your message. Make the takeaway crystal clear. Why does this story matter? And I share that with you all the time. What is it? What will it do for you? How do I do it? Why is this important? What transformation can you make in your life? So let me give you another example. This is just an example. A few years ago, and this happened to me in a way. I tripped over a cord. I used to, back in the early days, I would use my computer as a teleprompter, had my notes on it. I think it was Easter Sunday, as a matter of fact, tripped over my cord and the computer went smashing to the ground. But when I share with others, I just say, I was invited to speak at a conference. Just before my session, I spilled coffee all over my notes. My natural tendency was to panic, but I paused, breathed deeply, and trusted that spirit would give me what I needed in that moment. I shared from the heart, not the page. And afterwards, several people told me it was the most powerful talk they ever had. They ever heard, I should say. The story isn't about coffee. It's about trust. It's about showing up authentically. And this has happened so early on. I could not speak extemporaneously. I shared this with you. And now it's like these podcasts have helped me so much. I turn on the mic, hit the record button, and I go. So often that's what I've done. But see, even in crisis, I gained something from that because I was forced into it. So use your stories. Share your moments of doubt. Share your triumphs. Share your transformations. Share your lessons. Share the wisdom gained. They are powerful teaching tools. Stories make us human. They really do. They make us human. Yeah, and they make us relatable. People can relate to the story. They're going to hang on. They're going to be immersed in it. They're going to get something out of it. In a world, excuse me, that's overwhelmed by noise and data and the bombardment of media, social media, television, radio, all of it. Storytelling is the lifeline that keeps communication heart centered. All right, let's wrap it up. I'm over time as usual. So let's just reflect on this in closing. Effective communication isn't just about speaking well, it's about being present, it's about listening deeply, it's about holding space, speaking truth, and sharing from your heart. When you when you integrate, let's say, active listening, courageous conversations, and storytelling into your daily interactions, you become not just a communicator, you become a transformational presence. You're no longer just passing information, you're building bridges, you're creating understanding, you're creating trust, you're inspiring change, you're inspiring transformation. And that, my friends, is the essence of true leadership. So I want to thank you for joining in. I'm way over time, so I apologize for that. Thanks for joining me in part 2 of my series on effective communication. I do have a program called Effective Communication. Will solve a lot of problems in your workplace. I invite you to reach out so we can have a conversation about that. Individuals, corporate teams, whatever it is, ministries, especially ministries and board can use the program Effective Communication. I'd love to take you through that and facilitate that for you. Reach out to me, Stephen at successocean.com. Successocean or successappointment.com is my calendar. Successocean.com is the website, or the genesisfrequency.com, two different websites. One is for the podcast. So I just hope that you truly feel inspired to apply these practices in your life starting today, right? And remember, communication is what? It's a spiritual practice. It's a sacred exchange of energy. As we evolve in consciousness, so too does the way that we connect with each other and one another. So until next time, keep listening. Please keep sharing. Share this podcast. People can use this. Trust me, they can use it. Doesn't matter who they are. Share this. Get me into your company. Keep sharing and keep leading with love. All right, that's going to do it for today. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, click the link, bookmark it, whatever you got to do. And again, share this episode with someone who can use it. And I'll see you next time. Again, it's Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina, and I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.